This is a total body cardio and conditioning session that will deliver that solid effort, a great sweat without the impact. So this one is in our intuitive embodied exercise series where I'm really inviting you to listen to what your body needs. So on a day when maybe you're feeling a little bit on the low energy side, you can use a practice like this to get the energy moving, to clear stagnation, and to elevate your reserves. This one was just right for me, felt so good to move in this way after a few days of pretty heavy strength training. So that's exactly how I like to use this type of body weight practice, is when you maybe have been putting in the effort with heavy resistance and you still have some energy, but you want to give your body a little bit of a break and you want to take out that impact for your joints. It's a great one for the ovulatory phase if you're feeling a bit flatlined. And during that time when we experience just a slight increase in joint laxity. So it's a great time to protect your joints, to focus on muscle control without the explosive impact. A lot of times you'll see high intensity with that impact during the ovulatory phase, but in this particular practice, we're able to get to that higher intensity threshold without jumping, without explosive patterns, and it just feels good. So I hope you find that in this practice. This one has 9 different exercises, body weight only, no equipment necessary. You can take it with you when you travel. You can kind of use it if you're at work and you have a quick break, just need a little bit of space to move around. We have those 9 exercises. We're performing them in 3 rounds. So it's 27 minutes total from start to finish. It's nice and quick and feels good. This one will not include a separate warm-up or a separate cool down. So if you only have this 30-minute window, you can use your first 5 minutes or so as that warming round. Maybe don't hit the high intensity right away. And likewise, you can use the last 5 minutes to kind of cool down and focus more on the stretch portion of each exercise and less about kind of that power or the exertion. So you can use those elements how you wish. I'll also include my favorite total body warm-up and cool down in the description of this video below, so that you can bookend your conditioning practice and create this complete experience from start to finish. So with that being said, let's get into today's workout. We are going to jump right into this total body conditioning session. This is the low intensity version of our cardio and conditioning practice. So this one has 45-second working intervals followed by 15 seconds of rest. That's just enough time to transition. We're wanting to keep the heart rate in that steady elevated place for the majority of the practice. So I will get us started. We have 20 seconds to set up for our first of 9 exercises that we'll be completing in 3 rounds. The first exercise is simply a step out. We'll tap the floor, then we'll bring the feet together and reach for the ceiling. So the key here to get that heart rate up is to really move and cover some ground, even if you're not jumping or getting that explosive pattern. Let's begin in 2, 1. So you step down all the way and reach. Make it quick and smooth. So you're looking to cover some ground. You're looking to get as high up on those toes as you can and move as low as you can with each rep. So we're here for 45 seconds. We'll kind of be alternating between more of a lower or total body exercise and then an upper body exercise. So next we'll be in our bear plank and plank. Don't have to step out very wide here. We want to stay in that nice squat alignment. We're here for just 5 more seconds. Really wanting to find the intensity rest that works for you. So you might be pushing that threshold, or maybe you're in a menstrual or luteal phase mode where you're moving a lot more slowly. Let's come into our plank position. We're going to lower to the elbows now. So we lower down to the elbows, press it up, and then walk the knees in to bear plank and back out. Down to the elbows, come up, walk those knees in just under the hips, and switch. As you lower to the elbows, I want you to focus on not twisting the shoulders or the torso. So you're really recruiting that core integration and the strength and stability in the shoulders to keep them in that level plane. Walk those feet in. You're trying to keep the hips and the shoulders in that same orientation, that same square position the entire way through. And rest. Slowly transition back up, coming into a reverse lunge with a hip circle. So we're going to start in the center of the mat, reverse lunge to one side, and then a huge hip circle as wide as you can go. Let's begin now. We step it back, huge circle, and switch. Step it back, big hip circle. If you want to get more, you're keeping that leg straight and doing a bit of a roundhouse kick. Try not to lean the torso, but keep that torso upright, nice and strong. You can pick up the pace a little bit once you get that pattern into your body. This is our first round, so we're using this a little bit like a warm-up, but it does have that element of intensity right out the gate. Stepping back and come up. Nice big circle. Last one. And rest. Coming into a push-up next. I want this to be a narrow push-up, so we're targeting the arms and chest. And then we're switching to side plank with a knee hug. So we'll come into position. You can take the knees down if you wish. We push up, open to one side, hug that knee to elbow, and back to center. Push up to the other side now. Knee hug, keep the shoulders and hips stacked, and come back through center. So again, you can bring those knees down through the push-up if you wish, so that you can get that good form where we're recruiting the muscles we want without compromising the lower back. So if you find that you're having to wriggle up or kind of squirm to get out of that lower position, I want you to bring the knees down. Keep it safe and effective. Last one, and rest. Coming into a forward lunge with a leg extension and then a heel tap. So you're going to be stepping forward with the same leg. We lunge forward, hip extension, come back, and either just a lunge or that heel tap. So again, forward lunge, reach back, forward lunge, heel tap. You can add some arms if you want, reach them overhead, and tap the front heel. So this is borderline jumping, and I promised no jumping for this workout. So you can always just be in that lunge. You can take out the heel tap if you wish, or add a little bit more control with that descent so it doesn't feel so much like a jump, but feels more like a lift. So you're staying in control of that heel tap. As you come into that forward hip extension, I want you to keep the shoulders and hips square. Rest, shake it out. So our heart rate is up there, but this is low impact. Great work for your cardiovascular endurance, but it's easy on the joints. Come into the second side now and begin. So we lunge it forward, extend that leg back, come into the lunge either straight up or you're adding that heel tap. As you come into the extension, again, you're keeping shoulders and hips square so that you're having to use the glute of that back leg to lift the limb off the ground. This one has a little bit of that balance challenge as well, especially if you're adding that heel tap. Requires that deep low belly core engagement. We're here for just 5 more seconds. Breathe and flow. Rest, shake it out. Next one is one-legged downward dog to a mountain climber. We're alternating sides. So you're going to start in your downward dog position. Soften the shoulders, heart, belly, chest toward the thighs. And we lift it up. And then we hug the knee to chest, come through your plank, reach it back up, and switch. Make this pretty quick so that you can get the most out of every rep, and you can get more reps per interval. I want you to bring, as you come through that core plank, bring the shoulders directly over the wrists. Try not to excessively round to the upper back, but you do have a little bit of that broadening of the wings on the upper back, the back of the heart. Keep it nice and smooth here. So I want you to avoid kind of losing that alignment. You're staying slow and controlled as you move. And rest. Slowly come up. Next one is our step out to sumo squat with a side bend. So you're going to take the hands behind the head and just side bend in our sumo squat. We'll move in 3, 2, and 1. Step it out, bend to the side, back together to the other side. Out, side bend, and together. I want you to try and keep both sides of the waist equally long, even the side that you're bending to. I want you to try to lengthen from the hip crease to the armpit as you come through that movement. So we're not crunching into the obliques, into the side waist, but we're creating that elongation under tension. Knees are tracking over second and third toes, and we have that zipping action to the center as you step through. Hug the legs to the midline. Last one, and come up. Next up is a walking sprawl, and that'll close out our first of 3 rounds. So the walking sprawl, you're going to come down, take the hands to the floor, step back to plank, and then step right back forward. Here we go. Take the hands down, step back to plank, forward, and lift to the toes. Back to plank, forward, and lift. You want to alternate the foot that you're leading with each time. So we go left, right, and then we switch. Right, left, left. Make sure as you're stepping back that you've got that strong plank position where you're curling the pubic bone toward the navel, shortening that gap between the low ribs and the hip points so that you're not letting the pelvis drop down, but it stays strong and buoyant. Last 3, 2, and 1. That completes our first round. We're coming back to the top. You've got that high heart rate, low impact. We're stepping out, tapping the floor, and then reaching it up as high as we can go. 2 and 1. Step it out and reach. So I'm actually joining you for this workout in the ovulatory phase, but choosing to take that low impact option. During ovulation, we have that high estrogen, and you do experience some degree of increased joint laxity, which is not to say that you're going to get injured, but it means that you do have to focus more awareness on activating your muscle stability, and lower impact can support that effort where we have the energy, but we don't necessarily want that pressure on the joints. Last one, and rest. Coming down for our plank up down and a bear plank step out. We're going in just 5 seconds. Get ready to come into plank. 2, 1. Lower one arm, and then the other. Press it up, walk it in. Step together and back. Down and up. Step it in and back. Remember, shoulders lower together and they lift together. It will require a lot of effort and integration from the core, and also you'll feel it more in your shoulders, your back, your arms, if you keep those shoulders square. If we start to twist the torso, we're using muscles that we're not trying to target here. So keep it in alignment so that you get what we're looking for out of this exercise. And rest. Come up. Next exercise is that reverse lunge to either your roundhouse kick or your hip circle, just the knee. Let's come to the center of the mat. Get ready to move. 2, 1. We step it back, roundhouse kick, or that hip circle. And we're making it nice and quick. Getting a little bit of that conditioning effort here, using those deep core muscles and hip flexors to move that strong, beautiful leg through the air. Here we go. So this is your low impact conditioning workout. If you're in the luteal phase, you're trying to stay just below that high intensity threshold where it becomes more challenging to speak. You have to gasp for air. So you're staying just underneath that threshold. Rest. If you're in follicular and ovulatory, taking the low intensity route, you want to be blowing past that threshold. Coming to push-up side plank next. If you're in menstrual, we're staying slow and low. Here we go. Push it up. So you would be aiming to stay closer to 50% of your max effort if you're in the menstrual phase or that premenstrual transition. But if you're in the first half of your cycle, those more well-resourced phases, I want you to really push the intensity here. Find your edge and work to shift it so we give ourselves more headroom to grow every time we adjust what we think is the hardest thing we can do. So we keep inching that limit further and further away and then growing into it, growing past it. And rest. Slowly come up. Forward lunge is next. So again, that forward lunge with the leg extension, really targeting that glute, and then the heel tap or just finishing the lunge. Let's begin now. So we lunge, extension, lunge, optional, heel tap. Extension, if you're taking the heel tap out, you're just coming into that sort of split squat mode. So this is really more of a split squat pattern for that front leg. Squaring the hips, squaring the shoulders as you come through that extension. 15 more seconds on this side. You can take out the arms if it's adding too much of a balance challenge. You can just keep the hands at the heart. Whatever works for you to make this movement sustainable. And rest, shake it out. We're getting close to the end of round 2 and we have just one more left. This is a very quick 27-minute workout, keeps us right under that 30-minute threshold. And let's begin. Other side, extension, optional, heel tap. Forward lunge or split squat extension and tap the heel. Again, you can always take that heel tap out, especially maybe you're working out while other people in your family are sleeping and you're trying to be extra quiet. You can take out that heel tap or simply add more of that element of control where you're lifting slow, lowering slow, kind of catching your body weight as you lower into that squat, that split squat. We've got 5 more seconds here. Really challenging your balance and rest. Shake it out. One-legged dog to mountain climbers next. Again, we're making these quick, but without getting sloppy. So I don't want you to lose the embodied quality of the movement, but you can still move fairly quickly while staying controlled. One-legged dog, core plank, back up and exchange. One-legged dog. Here, I encourage you to keep the hips mostly square to avoid kind of overextending or rotating the pelvis with this quick pace. I don't mind opening the hips when we're moving more slowly, more intentionally, but here, try to keep those hips and shoulders square. Press down through the finger pads, micro bend in the elbows so that you're activating that muscular stability. You're not dumping into the joints. And rest. Slowly step it up, coming into our step out sumo squat to a side bend. So again, hands are behind the head. We're keeping the torso nice and long and bending side to side, activating those obliques. Here we go. Step it out, side bend. Feel that stretch as well as the contraction. So I want you to imagine, again, we typically would think of shortening the side that we're bending toward, but can you, as you compress that space, can you lengthen, can you elongate from the hip creases to the armpits? Almost like you're reaching your armpit for your knee with each rep. We're also keeping the torso nice and upright. We're not leaning forward or back. Staying in that nice upright alignment the whole time. You'll feel the legs too. I can feel those inner thighs talking to me. And rest. Last exercise of round 2, our walking sprawl. So we're going to get nice and low, step it back to plank, and then lift up onto the toes. We'll go in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Touch down, step back, and forward. Lift to the toes. As you step back, I want you to find that plank position, even if you have to pause in plank to really solidify that alignment before you step it forward. And then you can start to train that muscle memory so your body knows where to go. There's less of a refinement process that needs to happen, but your body just drops right into that alignment. That does take time. It takes hundreds and hundreds of visits to plank to know how to drop in right away without letting the pubic bone drop, without overarching the back. Last one, rest. Let's hit it for our third round. We'll keep the intensity up if you're in that first half. We'll keep it slow and low if you're in the second half. We'll go in 3, 2, 1. Step it out, reach it up, out and up. Again, just a small step side to side and out. Here we go. This is our last one. What do you want to take away from this round? What do you want to leave on the mat? Try to keep it nice and strong all the way till the end. How do you want to feel when you walk out of this workout? Create that here. Fight for it here. We got this. Up high and down low. Definitely feeling the conditioning effort here. And rest. Coming down to plank next. Heart rate is up there. Let's get ready. Come into plank. We'll move in 3, 2, 1. Take it down, down, up, up. Walk in, and back out. So I will include at the end of this workout a link in the description for a cool down. However, if you're short on time and you're needing to book it right after this workout is completed, then I want you to slow it down for this last round. Let this be your cool down round, especially in the last 5 minutes or so. So the last 5 exercises, I want you to be shepherding your heart rate back down to its baseline. If you have time for a cool down, then you're still pushing. You're still staying in your working zone. Rest. Slowly come up, reverse lunge to that roundhouse kick. So again, you might be entering cool down mode right now, or you're still pushing and you're going to take your cool down separately. Take it back and around. You can take the arms however they feel most supportive for your balance. I like to have mine kind of in that guard position for the roundhouse kick. It comes from my days of attending kickboxing classes. So keep that nice and integrated position. It'll help you engage the core. If you're not letting your limbs swing out, keeping everything hugged to the midline. That gives you more power to sweep that leg. We got this for 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. Push up to side plank knee hug. Coming up next. Get ready. We'll move in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push up, come to side plank, knee hug. We got it. Push up, come through center, turn to the side, and hug. So we are closing out this practice. Keep it strong, keep it steady. Make sure you are focusing on your form, especially in this point in the workout where you might be getting a little bit tired. You can do it. We have just 15 more seconds in this interval. Come down and up. Through center, you always have the option to lower to the knees if you wish. 3, 2, and 1. Come back up. Forward lunge or that split squat position with your hip extension and your heel tap. Let's get ready to move in 3, 2, and 1. Step it forward, extend, come back, heel tap. Forward, extend, back, and heel tap. We got this. Feel that slow and controlled quality while also moving with some efficiency. Forward and back. Your torso leans to the front and then comes back to that straight position. We've got 15 more seconds. Stay with me. Breathe here. So we're hitting that point. We've got about 5 minutes left. So if this is it for you, I want you to start rest, cooling down, where you're moving more slowly, more intentionally, thinking more about kind of the stretch in the muscles and less about building that pace and power. Let's get ready and begin. Extension, come back, heel tap. Lift the leg, feel the glute, and tap. So I want you to make this less of a kick and more of a lift on both sides. So it's less about getting the back leg as high as it can go and really more about engaging that glute. Create the lift. Back, heel tap. We're here. 15 more seconds. Stay with me. We have, after this, just 3 more exercises to close out this workout. 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. One-legged dog to mountain climbers. This is a great place, again, if you're cooling down, to slow things down, maybe spend a little bit more time in the stretch. Let's begin. Now, reach it up. Hug that knee in. Shorten that distance between hip bones and low ribs. Again, in one-legged downward dog, we're not trying for the highest elevation of that extended leg. We're looking for integration, for separation between the thigh bones, for mobility in the hips. Reach it back and down. Find your breath here. Press through all 10 finger pads so you're alleviating any strain in the elbow joint by recruiting those beautiful strong arms to share the work with you. Last one, and rest. Coming up, step out sumo squat with a side bend. Again, this one, if you're in cool down mode, a great one to kind of stay more in that stretch phase and focus less on the power. Let's begin now. We step it out nice and wide. Toes are turned slightly out. Heels are turned slightly in. We zip them together. Out, side bend, and together. We are so close to the end. Start to really focus for the last 2 minutes of this workout. What do you want to take away? What do you want to leave behind? I love the conditioning work for kind of that sweat. It's like sweating through whatever's coming up for you. You get to metabolize that energy and let it go. Last one, and to center. Our last exercise here is going to be that walking sprawl. So we come to the top of the mat, we get ready to go low, step back into plank, and then up onto the toes. Let's get ready in 3, 2, 1. Touch the hands down, step it back and forward. Lift it up, back to plank and forward. Here we go. If you're still in workout mode, you are getting as many reps, you're moving as quickly as possible. If you're in cool down mode, you're slowing it down and focusing more on that deep squat stretch and lift. We've got 20 more seconds, and then we have completed our conditioning session for today. Stay strong, stay with me. Moving, covering some ground, getting so many steps in just this 27-minute session. 2 and 1. Come up, shake it out. Let's give a few arm circles here. Walk around your workout space. We want to avoid kind of crashing down if you're at that peak intensity. We want to give your body that nice guided descent back to a baseline heart rate. So, as I mentioned, this is the complete workout in this video today. I will link to a quick 5-minute total body cool down in the description below. So please, if you worked hard till the very end, don't be tempted to skip that part. It will support your recovery. It'll support kind of the resolving of the stress response, so it can support your nervous system. All good things come from cooling down. But if this is where we part, I want to thank you so much for showing up to your practice, for putting in the work, and for letting your body be moved.